Hey, Jackie.
Hi, Eric. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really excited.
We have a visitor.
I am. I'm smiling like crazy because we have a pretty incredible person joining us today. Miss Beverly Downen from Downen Creative Studios and half of Epic Echo Cosplay, as the shirt says.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for representing.
Yeah.
I was gonna wear the shirt too, but it's in the wash. So
yeah.
Which you guys wouldn't have noticed. I would have been like, oh. So yeah, I'm just a normal person.
So
today.
we are really
but thanks for having me.
You're
yes, and you've been here without me before. She was the pseudo me as a guest before. So it's great to finally get to actually talk to you instead of just listening to you in my shop.
I know. It's kind of surreal. Yeah, I'm glad to be.
The last time Beverly was on, she was on with the other half of Epic Echoes, Heather, and we talked about Wonder Woman. Jackie wasn't available, and I really just wanted to talk to somebody about Wonder Woman, so I got the two of them on. We did that.
But I got to listen.
So if you wanna learn more about Wonder Woman and how Bev feels about that, you can go listen to that. But we didn't get to talk.
And now Eric feels
that
about
was only
that
Wonder
too,
Woman.
because
This is true. This is true. But we didn't talk any crafting or anything about you. So today it's all about you.
Oh my gosh, the pressure.
And we have so much in common. Those of you that listen obviously know I love pattern making. It has become, I've really come into that part of cosplay the most. I love giving back to the community in the way of it's kind of like a little science, a fun little game to me, making patterns and then having other people create with them, and then I can just walk them through it. And we both share the love for pattern making.
Oh yeah, no, I love it. I've had but I can't remember what my first pattern was, but I did it because someone was asking me for it. I was like, you know what, I'll just whip it up real fast and here you go. And I realized that I really liked it. I like having it organized. I like making a PDF. I like making things coded and like making it all nice and neat and like being able to just hand it off to someone and like, here you go. I hope this helps you with your project. And yeah, it's pretty validating when someone shares their progress and they're like, look what I made with your thing. And yeah, it's pretty cool. And Heather is an amazing seamstress, and her pattern making is pretty off the charts too. So together we've been working on some pretty cool stuff. But
yeah, I love the duo vibe. Like, gosh, that's amazing. Oh, I love that. I love that you guys are such a strong power team, though. I want to be part of that so much. Like, oh my gosh, could you imagine all girl pattern company? We could just make our own cosplay pattern company.
Let's do it. Let's totally do it, Jackie.
We're successful. I mean, we're doing well. We should do it, and then we'd be all across the country. Man, I got chills just thinking about it.
Yeah, well, I love brainstorming about projects, actually doing.
No, I was just thinking that I prophesied this before we started. So.
He did. Well, I love it. It's such a very fun part of cosplay. Is just it gets a lot more people cosplaying, a lot more people creating because they aren't as nervous. It's like that jumping in thing and having no idea. You get a flat sheet of foam or a flat sheet of Worbla and you're just lost. And we kind of give you the little boost that gets you started.
Yeah, it's like a guiding hand.
Yeah. And your patterns, I went on your Etsy and looked at some of the patterns. I have to say, I'm new to this, and I've taught myself all the different kinds of programs to clean it up and make them look more professional, my little graphics and Inkscape, stuff like that. No big deal. But in the beginning, my patterns were so basic. It was just like the scanned in, scaled to size pattern. And then now I've evolved with really nice instructions and little print lines. I looked at yours and I was like, what? I need influence from you. I can't believe it. I have like 30 patterns, and none of mine are as perfectly tailored and detailed. Your final packaging is so professional. You've really put a beautiful kind of, it's your stamp on it. Now I just love the way they come together and all the little, I actually got inspired from seeing your patterns, one of your videos, the little like side notes. You have a lot of really great, helpful notes, and that doesn't exist in a lot of templates. Yeah. So that's the difference between a pattern and a template,
Yeah, thank you. That's
awesome.
That was definitely the goal. And I have realized that I'm a bit OCD when it comes to giving instructions to people.
I love that.
And that translates to things like, Eric, you know what I mean?
My thing is, it's like, I don't know if it's just about instructions, because, and here's, for the people that aren't watching this on YouTube, all you have to do is look behind Beverly and then look behind me. And that explains everything.
So you should have seen so I'm in my dining room right now. You should have seen it like a week ago. I couldn't like do anything because it was just a mess. I've got like 2 mannequins. I wish I could turn my computer around to show you. It looks like there are corpses all over.
I don't believe it.
In the kitchen. You just can't.
I don't believe it. I'm sorry.
I feel you. My house is like that too. That's pattern maker's life is mannequins. I put on my Instagram story this morning the weird little boy mannequin that's in my closet because they're just everywhere. But we need so many different shapes.
I have to tell you, I was gifted a couple of older vintage mannequins. And at the same time, I had I was going through my mom's stuff and I found an old Victorian style purple wedding dress that was hand sewn.
Wow.
So I was airing it out because it kind of smelled like a little musty. Mm-hmm. And I put it on one of those mannequins to kind of fluff it out and look at it and to like be in awe of it because it's just absolutely beautiful. And then I was doing something I had to get out of the way, so I put it in the coat closet, and I forgot about it. And my husband came home. I wasn't home to tell him that the mannequin was in the closet. I came home, and they told me later that he almost punched he put his jacket away and saw the mannequin standing right there.
Oh my God! But the truth is, he screamed. The truth is, he screamed like a girl, right? Because because I'm pretty sure that Brent screams like a girl.
Oh no!
Hey,
kids are definitely when someone comes to visit your house.
He's my buddy. I had to give him a hard time. So.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta say, I've known Eric for my whole life of cosplay life. Because Eric, it's your fault that I got so OCD about my projects because I won one of his Lady Sif sword. He was doing a giveaway, and someone was like knew that I was making Lady Sif, and I was kind of freaking out about the sword because I'd never really made anything before. And somebody, I remember who was like, "Hey, you should really enter this contest because this guy's giving away a Lady Sif sword." And that's how Eric and I met. I still can't believe it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and not only that, but it was the first prop I ever made. Really, I mean, well, I think I made the Loki staff first, and then the Sif sword was I guess it was the second prop I ever made, but the first time I ever molded and casted anything or any of that. So we've known each other right at the beginning. So it's been a pretty cool friendship, I think. So
I love that. That's so great.
Yeah.
That's really special.
Well, also, Eric, you kind of set the bar for quality for me. So I feel like I've been watching your work and your attention to detail, and that has definitely influenced my insanity when it comes to my own props and stuff. Oh, what would Eric?
I'm sorry.
He would go down to 2,000 grit on this
I don't want to be responsible for that.
That's the best though, when your friends when you're good friends and it's like a friendly, not a rivalry, but you kind of push each other, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
You tag each other in. I like that. I like that he pushes you to want to do. I mean, your work is so great, so it's weird to think that. I guess he really pushed you, and here you are. You're just great.
And now it's pretty much I'm the tortoise, she's the hare, and it's I just make props and she just makes it blows my mind. I'm just So I just kind of given up on costumes at this point. So, but no, that's good though. So okay, so speaking of that genesis and that beginning, what I mean, I know your story, but where did this all begin for you? Were you creative growing up? Did you come into it late in life? Well, where did that all start for you as far as the whole making thing?
Well, I've always loved drawing since I was little, and my grandmother was a painter. She liked to paint landscapes and still lifes, and I loved going over to her house, and she got me a little paint set and taught me how to do a few things. And we would watch Bob Ross together.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Happy little trees. I would try to do that on my little landscape. So we would paint together. So it was super inspiring. And then when I was in high school, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And all my teachers were like, oh, you should go into like psychology or English because your grades are good or something boring like that. No offense to anyone who's doing either one of those two things. But
my mom has an English degree and she doesn't do anything with it, so she is boring.
I wish I could take that back. But that wasn't really, I kind of felt like I was doing, like if I had gone in that direction, I would be doing something that someone else wanted me to do. So my mom was wonderful. She's like, okay, listen, if you didn't have to worry about making money at what you did with your days, what would you do? What's your dream? And I was like, well, I'd be an artist. I would just draw all day long, or I'd paint all day long, or I'd make stuff all day long. Because we would sew together too. She taught me how to use a basic sewing machine and make things from patterns. So I was like, well, I just want to draw. So she's like, well, just go to art school then. We'll figure something out like in the art world that you can do. I was like, oh my God, really? It was like, she gave me permission to do that. And so I went to Pratt Institute of Art and Design, which was the same college that Becca Noel went to. We weren't in the same class. I'm older than she is by a little bit. But I was there before computers were like a big thing. So that's how old I am. I'm really dating myself now. But I was in the industrial design department, and that was really fun and cool because I got to make things with my hands. We had to do things from create concept designs from sketches and concept, and we had to think out the whole process and the mechanism of it, and then we'd have to make a model. And my favorite moments of probably my whole life were in the studio with my classmates, working until like 3 a.m. on like a prop, basically, like learning how to cut blue foam with a little heat wire thing. That was like all we did. We had this balsa foam that was like really, really dense, but it sanded really well. And then we would cover that with like spackle. Yeah. So and then we'd paint. I mean, it was fun. I loved that whole process. So that is kind of where that background comes from. I've always loved making stuff with my hands. Yeah, always. It's always.
So how did you get to your partnership now? How did that evolve? Like, did she go to school with you?
No, actually. So Heather and I met like a little over a year ago.
I didn't realize that new. Wow.
We haven't known each other for a super long time. It feels like a lot longer because she's like my soul sister. But yeah, I know. Isn't it funny how you meet people in cosplay and it feels like you've known them forever? Like,
yeah, yes. Like Liz is like that for me. We've been as soon as we met, we're best friends, and she is like my soul sister. I talk to her every day, and it's like it doesn't matter what age you meet someone. When you meet that person that you're meant to have that friendship with, that's it. The worlds align you, and it feels like you've known each other forever. It's magical. So that's really cool that you also have experienced.
Oh yeah. Well, so I've only been doing the cosplay thing for as long as Eric has. And so
what were you going to do before you got into cosplay then? So I guess I jumped ahead to the partnership. So that after you got out of school, what was your plan? Wasn't cosplay, right?
No, it wasn't cosplay. I kind of wish it was, but no regrets. Everything got me to like right now. So it all happened for a reason.
That wasn't an option as a plan for us back then, you know.
No.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Because I known about it way back then. I might have tried, to make that a career, but whatever.
Yeah, no doubt. So my senior year in college, I realized that I needed to get like an actual real life job. And that was like a realization. It's like, school. It's like, oh my God, in like a few months, I'm going to have to pay my own rent. Oh. And I'm going to have to I don't want to move back home. And so I got an internship at a modern furniture design store. And really all I was doing was just working there. But they did allow me to design some custom, because I went into furniture design in my last year of school. So I did a little bit of custom furniture design for them. And then at the same time, I had this crazy roommate who was super into computers and programming and every single computer program under the sun. And I was like, no, computers suck. I'm going to hand drop everything. And he kind of changed my mind on that. I know, thank God. I thank him pretty much every time I talk to him. Thank you so much for changing my mind about computers. So I taught myself how to use Illustrator and Photoshop and a little bit of programming, and I kind of dove right into it because I figured, that's where I need to have that experience to get a job. So
do you? So I have to ask you this question real quick. I don't mean to interrupt you, but do you remember what version of Photoshop you were using at the time? Do you remember what number that was? Because I started on Photoshop 2.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I started on 6.
I don't remember things like that. I just so it was probably 1998 or something when I started. So whenever that was.
Well,
yeah, I don't know what it is. It's they transitioned away from numbers.
Yeah, they did. It'd be like, I don't know, 18 or 19 or something now if they actually stuck with it.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Anyway, I'm older than Bev, in case you're wondering. So there you have it.
I like this much, Eric.
Wait, really? I'm not going to ask the lady, but that just you. I thought you were my age.
Oh, girl,
you look great.
Thank you. No, I'm very transparent about my age because I started doing cosplay pretty late. Late. I shouldn't say that anymore. I think that's kind of dating myself. I want to be positive about age stuff. I'm 43. I just turned 43 like a couple weeks ago.
That's fine though. That's it's not really old. It's not. I feel like midlife isn't really till your 50s now. People live so long, but you look good. Not like looks are everything, but you just look you just look happy and healthy.
I think that's the key. Also, I burn like really easily under the sun, so I stay out of the sun a lot. So I think that contributes.
Wait,
yes,
you're not.
I've been out of the sun up until recently.
You're not a vampire, are you? I'm just kind of wondering. Okay, ageless, just ageless. That's all.
I would be fine being a vampire, though. Just side note, like I'm okay with that. Like I don't really want to feed on other people's blood. If it was the option of like having animal blood, I obviously would be a vegan. I would be a vampire, like because I want to live forever and see all this cool stuff.
I'm sure a lot of people agree with you, but we're not going down that road. So,
for the record, I've always wanted to be a vampire too. So,
I'm glad. See, I know.
If we find
that reminded me of something. I know something about you. I know a nickname, but I'm not going to say it. So.
Oh, I'll say it. It's fine. Transparency. So my nickname. Oh man. Okay, my nickname growing up was Buffy, and
was what?
Buffy.
As in Buffy the Vampire
Buffy.
Slayer.
Yes. Short backstory. Because my dad is Mexican, and his accent, he could not pronounce Beverly for the life of him. So he took my initials. Beverly's my grandmother's name, so my mom was like, "No, we're going to call her Beverly." So he took my initials. No, it's like I can't even pronounce my own daughter's name. BAF, and he was calling me Baffy for about 30 seconds, and my mom was like, no, let's just call her Buffy. Can you handle that?
Oh, that's so cute, though.
Buffy ever since. So I still have some family members that call me Buff. Yeah.
That's a really cute organic nickname.
My whole family calls me Rick. I don't know why. They just do.
Rick?
Yeah.
like brick or
Rick.
Rick?
Just they dropped the E. I guess they decided the E was just like too difficult. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh my
gosh.
Yeah, my wife's always like, I really don't like when we visit your side of the family because I never know who they're talking about when they say Rick.
Wow, I've never heard anybody take Eric and call it Rick. That's so unique.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I prefer to be called. I prefer to be called Eric. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you. So, speaking of weird nicknames and something that's relevant in the press right now is Prince Harry's getting married. His real name is actually Henry, and Harry's a nickname.
Yeah, right. That's never made sense to me.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And then
normal?
When he's marrying Meghan Markle, her real name's Rachel. Why would you go to Meghan after Rachel? Like the most normal nickname people with actual normal names. It's so ridiculous. At least Rick is.
It's not a syllable.
Do you answer to Jackie?
Well, my grandmother calls me Ruth because Ruth's my first name, so she likes to call me Ruth. And for a short period in my life, I wanted to call myself RJ when I was 13 because first and middle initial, and that lasted about a week. And nobody would do it. And now I'm really glad no one did because I would not want to be RJ.
Oh no, I'm calling you RJ for now on. I'm just saying.
No.
Yeah.
Well, then she gets to call you Rick.
Oh, burn!
Oh, yes. Forever.
Welcome to Craft and Geek with RJ and Rick. Nobody knows who we are.
It's a new podcast, everyone.
Oh my god! So before we got completely off tangent or on tangent or whatever it is, so Bev, you got all the way to you had to adult. Go from there. Catch us up.
You learned computers. You were thinking about furniture design. Where did you end up though? What was your job?
Okay. All right, so I started doing web design because everyone's doing web design. I was like, I'm going to hop on that train. And so I was doing web design, and I did some package design and some print design and some other stuff, which is crazy when I think about it. Like I quit my job. I was like, see you later, guys. I'm going to go freelance while I was living in New York City. I don't know how I was able to do that. I just worked all the time. And I did that for like 2 or 3 years. And then 9/11 happened, and my clients were pretty much in that area. They weren't directly affected by it, but the foot traffic for their shops kind of went away, and so that business kind of went out of business. So that was my main client. So after that, it was kind of hard for me to make ends meet.
Wow. So you were in New York City for 9/11.
It was.
That I did not know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So after that, I was there for, I don't know, that was 2001, for another couple of years. And then it was just too hard for me to stay. Plus, I was just working like all the time. I would work until like 4 a.m, and I would sleep until noon. I never saw my friends. I mean, I became a hermit. It was just, all I did was just work. You know what I mean?
That schedule kind of sounds familiar, though.
Yeah. It was like I had a really good friend, Micah, who would check in on me once in a while, and I still to this day I thank her for making sure that I was okay and making sure I saw sunlight once in a while, and making sure I participated with the outside world once in a while, because that was really hard. But so to make a very long story longer, I did like an about face, and I moved to upstate New York to go to school for X-ray. And I paid for school with web design because I still had some clients. But my brother was going to school for nursing, so he kind of convinced me to come up there. And so we were roommates for a little while, and I got my X-ray degree, and then I moved out to Portland after that.
Wow.
I'm going to go first I wanted to go to San Francisco, and that didn't really work out. So I ended up in Portland, and now I'm an MRI tech. So I still that's my full-time thing. I've worked my schedule out so that I have, I kind of sign up for shifts when I want to. So that gives me some more time to work on my projects. So it's really like things right now are great. Right now it's just a balance of finding time for regular life and also for creative stuff. So Eric, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I do too. I think we all do. That's the hardest part is it's not that hard for me to balance work and, cosplay hobby pattern work. It's the hardest to throw a third thing in the mix.
Yeah.
And it's like relationship,
like family and all the things.
Family. When to leave the house. I've been in the yard lately, and I'm like, at least I'm outside.
I know. When I go outside, I'm like, woo! Okay, I gotta go back.
Love it. Oh, I'm so happy it's summer. It's so nice outside. I'm like, wow, this is great. I want to just kind of do some stuff outside just to, I don't know. The air's different, it smells different. So.
Yeah. Well, when I'm in the garage working on stuff and I open the garage door, I kind of count that as being outside.
Yeah. Same here. I do the same thing. In fact, I probably do that today. It's really sunny.
I actually, I have 2 giant double doors that open up into the shop, and I open one of them. The other one, I don't know why I don't open it. I should, because it's kind of like a garage door. That would be a good idea.
You sort of feel like you're working outside a little bit. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though, is a lot of people wander in to talk to me.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys have that in your area.
We have a little bit of a homeless area situation, or situation in my area. There's a park right like a couple blocks away from me, and in the summertime, it's frequented, huh?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
So, I mean, it's fine if I look kind of scary when I'm out there in the garage with my respirator on.
Yeah. Like, the respirator keeps people away.
Yeah. They're looking at me like.
You could just, if you wore your Hella headpiece, it might scare people off. Just saying, you know.
Or it would make them come up to talk to me about
See,
it.
that's the thing.
No, you just have to give them that. You just have to give them that, like, I am personification of evil glare, and they'll be like, and they'll be gone.
Or you just hiss them.
Yeah, exactly. So you did your medical professional. Where did the costuming begin? Because we all have that we all have that moment, right, where somewhere along the line somebody either invited us or drug us to a con, and we're like, these are my people, right? Okay.
Yeah. And then we decide we're gonna make something.
Oh yeah, no, that was. I love this story, and I love blaming my stepdaughter for this because it's so cute. But our first con that we ever went to was in 2013 here in Portland. My husband was looking for stuff to do with the kids on the weekend, and we found this thing. Like, what is this? We'll go check it out. My stepson was, I think, like 7 or 8 at the time, and he was like, "Can I wear my Darth Vader mask?" I'm like, "Sure, if you want to be the weird person, that's fine. You do whatever you want."
You want to be the weird person,
I know.
girl. You are savage.
I know. I don't think I actually said that to him, but
Well,
I know. I'm sure you were nicer than that. But I love that's how. I love how far you've come from that to wear a giant headpiece.
Right, I know. Now I'm like, who's gonna dress up with me?
The wider, bigger, the crazier. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that was the first one, and when we got there, by the end of the day, we were like, we're gonna come back next year because I can't believe how positive and wonderful and friendly everyone is. And this is like Halloween. Everyone's wearing costumes, and there are families here, and there are adults here that are in costume. It looks like people make their costumes, and oh my God, I love it so much. I was just like kid in a candy shop. It was fun. So the next year, my stepdaughter asked me to help her sew a Tariel costume from The Hobbit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So she's like, "Can you help me to do this?" And it's like, heck yeah, because my mom taught me how to sew, and she had passed away not far before this. So it was really kind of therapeutic for me to teach her how to sew, and that kind of became like an obsession, just making stuff. And I realized I hadn't done this for a long time. I hadn't made anything for a long time, and it was just like, it was like opening the floodgates. I just wanted to make stuff all the time. I was remembering those wonderful nights in the studio with my classmates, and that was super happy space, and I wanted to be in that space as much as I possibly could. So I made that for her, and I wound up making a Magneto costume for my husband, and a Jean Grey for me, because they talked me into it. And awesome. And then after that, someone was like, I asked somebody what Warbler was, and then it was over after that.
It's
so fun.
It's a gateway drug, Warbler, just saying. Yeah.
It is a gateway drug, yes.
It is. Yeah, gosh, that's for sure.
That's so cool. That's awesome. You have a good relationship with your stepkids too, and that's cool that she reached out to you to sew. I like that. That's really awesome.
I am so lucky to have a great relationship with them, and I think the costuming was really important for me because I was able to work with them on things, and I was able to have some really great bonding time with them. At least I was bonding for me. So my stepdaughter is actually in her high school drama department in the costuming department.
Oh, wow. So you really have something to bond on. I love the stories of like the parents and kids, because I feel like both, oddly enough, this is so crazy. My grandmother's an artist, but she's like super, just like, your grandmother, she taught me how to sew a little bit on an old metal singer. She still has. And it was the hardest thing to thread ever. I cannot even, like, thinking back, I have automatic threader, and I'm like, what the heck, dude?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And when it broke, Pop had to like really work on it because it's all metal parts. So if something broke, it was a big deal. Not like now plastic can break and replace it. But she really opened my eyes to like art and things, but art school was never really an option in my life. But both of my parents, when they were young, wanted to be costume designers, and I didn't find this out until I was older. Of course, they weren't going to tell me because, you know,
oh my God,
they're ridiculous, and they used to sew things, and now they like to tell me that, and it's so ridiculous. It's like, why didn't we bond on that? And so it's when I hear about, you know, you doing stuff with your kids, and Eric, I love hearing about the things he does with his daughters. And another pattern maker in the community, Sarah, she's working on a Zuck Mercy right now. She sells a lot of cute templates and stuff. She and her daughter are so close, and her daughter's really young, but she's bringing her into on every aspect of what she's doing. She literally had her 3D modeling the other day and let her print her items she modeled, and she's like 6 or 7 maybe.
Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, she's obviously not doing any advanced modeling, but she like modeled her name.
Yeah.
Like, gosh, that's so
I was going to say, and yet she's,
I can't do that.
And yet I guarantee you she's a better 3D modeler than I am. So.
But it's so amazing, like the way parents can connect. It's, I don't know, there's just so many cool hobbies that you can connect on now, and so many things that are just like, it's not taboo. It's fine. It's cool. It's all socially acceptable. So you can cosplay with your kids, and they're not going to get made fun of, and you know they're not dorks because being a dork is cool. So it's awesome that you guys bonded on that, and she kind of brought you out into it.
She totally did, and I love blaming her for it.
That's awesome. Yeah. So does she still cosplay with you? Or do any of the family?
She makes her own costumes.
She doesn't need you anymore.
I love it though, because I'm not going to force her to do anything that she doesn't want to do. You know, that's like the first way to get your kiddo to be like, no, I don't like doing that anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to do this.
They really have to want to do it.
Yeah. So she's made a couple of costumes on her own, and she still has her Tario costume that she's updated a few times. But yeah, she's sewing up a storm at school, and she's really, really busy with that. So she doesn't have much time for anything else.
Yeah. But that's awesome though. That's really cool.
Okay. Cool. Since we've talked about her so much, I think you should give her a shout out for her Instagram. Isn't it Crazy Insane Fan Geek? Is that what her Instagram is?
Yes.
Okay. That's a very fun Instagram name.
Yeah.
So you guys go check out Crazy Insane Fan Geek. Give her a follow.
Yes, give her a shout out. Awesome.
To talk more about you and Heather now. So you've only known each other for a year, and you've dived right into this pattern making kind of life. And you make costumes together too, and you do tutorials and videos, and they're awesome. The production value is great. You guys seem like you've been doing this for a while, even though you've really just kind of, you know, it's like a very fast year, I suppose.
Yeah. It's crazy.
What do you guys have planned? Like, where do you see your business together growing? Like, what's your end game? What's your goal in things? Like, what kind of studio do you want to be? Do you want to get into? I guess there's just so many different business models. What do you have in mind?
So this last year has been interesting because when we met and really started, I was making a palette kind of on my own, and I had a plan with Brett to be the photographer with a few other girls that were also making other Wonder Woman inspired costumes. And then Heather contacted me and was like, hey, are you going to be doing Hippolyta? Because I would love to do that. And I was like, actually, I'm making Hippolyta, but we don't have a battle Wonder Woman if you want to do that. So we didn't actually meet each other until a couple months after we started all that process. And then throughout that whole process, we realized we had a lot in common, and we were both super into details and teaching people and showing people and being transparent with successes and failures, and all of that together. And then after a little while, I convinced her to transform her designs into some patterns. It's like, just give me what you have, and I'll do the digital part. So that's more or less what I do is I translate what she puts together digitally to give it that OCD touch.
Yeah.
But going forward, we're working on some basics. We have a basic corset, foam corset design up there on our shop that is really cool. And we want to do more stuff like that. So it's more general, more, so you can use it for more than just one project.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So and we brought one other person on board to kind of help keep us on track, because we're really busy, and we've realized that we like to keep our own personas. Like, she's Harbeastie on social media. And so it's been a challenge to keep those aspects of ourselves, to find that balance between Epic Echo and then our individuals, because we like to have that. I kind of want to retain that, and I know she does too. So we decided that when we do projects together, it's going to be pattern based, and that's when we do updates on Epic Echo, and then that way we can still have our own personal projects. So that's kind of a
very interesting distinction, because we know a lot of people in the community that have work underneath other people in the community, or work in like small groups, and there's really only ever one kind of face or like a brand, even though there may be multiple people that work behind it. And this is all, I mean, we have all kinds of friends that have assistants and have lots of people that do video editing even.
I wish I had one.
Oh my gosh! Well, there's all kinds of really. You should talk to Jess. Jessica Neger. She knows somebody that has done a couple really cool ones for her. But also Fiverr. What the heck? That website is the best. You can get so much stuff done there. It's amazing. I get lost on it all day. You can get some people to paint on their body and run around in the bush with your like logo on themselves. Crazy. I can't even believe it. Beefy Photography did it. It's $5. Like, what? They just draw your logo or your name on them. Awesome.
I'm look into that a little more. Yeah.
It's good supplemental. It like fills in. If you're just out of time and something costs $20 and you think about it, it's like $20 could be what you pay yourself in an hour, and you save all that time by them doing it. So it's
to that, because I knew about that, but I didn't realize I should probably invest some time looking at that. So
because it's expanded so much now, it even has like there's classes and stuff, people that teach classes. It's kind of nutty how big the sites become. But that's so interesting that you say that you want to keep your entities and kind of be yourselves within it, because I don't see that happening a lot. I see a lot of people that work and they're and maybe a lot of people just don't want to have their distinction. But Kyle, that works with Volpin Harrison, for example, he definitely has his own personality, and he still posts on his vibe, but he works with Harrison. And I think that he has that kind of personality. He likes that. And I think I like to see the different personalities in a shop. I get that some people are fine just being under someone else. But I like to see I want to know what they're all doing, It's cool. It's a factory.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see what as we've done this for a little over a year, or about a year now, how, like, what our strengths are, what our individual strengths are. So now we know what we're capable of and what we're willing to invest in. So yeah, but we both have families, and it's important to both of us that we spend time, like quality time with our families. So that's been, I think for me anyway, easier to make that decision. Like this Epic Echo thing is going to be patterning, and it's going to be when we have time for it, because the family thing is, I want that to last.
I don't blame you. And I think that you kind of, that comes with age. I know Eric even, we've talked about this before, he's kind of cut back on a few, well, he said he was going to cut back on some stuff.
I've cut back a lot, but I still have no extra time.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's the craziest thing. It's like, I'm doing half, I would, let's say, roughly half the amount of things I was doing in the past couple of years I am this year, and I still have zero time. I just don't know how that works out. It just, like, you would think mathematically I would have twice the amount of time I had before. I have none. So
I don't know if you guys are experiencing this the older you get, but I feel like it's definitely happening to me the longer I've been doing this. So in the beginning, I felt like I could crank out something in 3 days. I made a suit of armor for Shredder in a weekend and then put paint on it and finished it for the week. I hate it now and wouldn't wear it again. But now everything takes me longer because I'm not okay. It's like quality time. I want this to be good because I'm already putting so much time in it. So I'm slower because I've raised my standard just for my own personal projects. And so it's not that I'm older and slower and I can't make something super fast. It's that time is so special and so hard to come by that if I'm going to make something, it's going to be really good. So I can get a lot of content out of it, get a lot of a lot of detail out of it. So Do you guys experience that you don't just feel the desire to crank stuff out just to have it anymore?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Eric's like, I've never done that. I never have done that.
I haven't. I really haven't. I mean, laugh at me all you want, but I've never cranked things out. I'm too slow. I just, I just make things.
And I guess you've never really had the desire, I guess, to, I don't know if you had, but in the beginning I needed a whole lot of like full body costumes.
Yeah,
so I guess
because it comes back to I really don't like making costumes.
Yeah.
I know it's odd. It's a podcast about cosplay, but just costumes in general, like a full costume with all the different. The stress of it just is too much for me. It's too stressful, and that's why I several years ago really started more focusing on props, because I can do a prop. It's one thing, I can concentrate on that one thing. I can work on that one thing. I can take it as long as I want to take it. Unless I'm doing a commission and there's a client deadline or something, which I had for the past 3 years, which I don't have anymore. But it's always been that way for me, because I guess I get lost in that, and for me, it's just like, and so when I sit down to like work on a full costume, it's overwhelming, and it's just like too much stress. So for those of you, especially you two, that can just like sit down and like bust out a full freaking costume in like a month or whatever, it's just like, I don't know. Well, that's a superpower. As far as I'm concerned, that's a superpower. So.
I hear what you're saying, Jackie, because my Hella costume, I definitely took my time. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna.
I was thinking of that as I was saying it. I was like, that wasn't a speed costume.
No, and I gave myself permission to take my time with that, because I don't have to rely on making the stuff to pay the bills. So I was like, you know what, I want to do this. I want to do this right. Well, not right, but I want to do it the way that I want to do it. And so I didn't really compromise on very much, and I allowed myself the time to do a lot of research and a lot of testing. And honestly, more than half of the time that I spent on that costume was testing out materials and researching and buying, X, Y, and Z, and failing with X, Y, and Z. So I learned like 500 things from that project. And so I really like that process, the process of making things. That's what I love. Smooth On helped me a lot with that project. They sent me the materials, and so I really wanted to do a nice job for them, because they're going to be the costume. I have to send the costume to them for the New York show, so they're going to have the helmet and the suit there as on display. Wow. So that was another kind of like incentive to be like, I'm going to do a really nice job on this. Plus, I wanted to learn silicone and a little bit more about that, and a completely different method other than using it for mold making. So that was cool. I feel like I have so many like tools, feathers in my cap or whatever now that I finished that project, and it was a little bit traumatic and stressful, but I learned so much. And I'm working on a project right now. It's a secret project, and I feel a lot more comfortable with it now that I have learned what it feels like to take my time and to allow myself to put the time into researching and put the time into testing, so that I don't make those big giant mistakes that I can't walk back from the final product. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. But sometimes
it's a luxury to be able to test, but man, it's so that's one of the best things, is just having time to test things. Because sometimes I don't want to make a full thing. I mean, you were obviously on the path of making a full thing, but sometimes I literally just want to just test all the products. I don't care about having a costume out of it. I just want to test stuff. It's the scientist in me that just wants to like have a bunch of stuff and experiments going on, and I don't care if I have anything to wear. I can just put all of my experiments just glued onto a jumpsuit or something.
Well, I'm a serial listener of this podcast, and I gotta say, like, I love listening to you too, especially you, Jackie, because I know you buy like all the stuff and you test all the stuff and you have all the things. Bad. I would love to see like short little video segments like, hey guys, this sucks, or
do you really? Well, it's a lot of it sucks.
Yeah, I know, but
I've thought about that. I definitely have. Like, it's that whole we've talked about this before, but it's a little bit like I feel, and Bill and Brittany Duran are advocates of this. Is like I don't want to bash a bunch of brands.
No.
But it's like not really bashing it. I feel like I could say it in a way like this just didn't work the way that I needed it to work.
Yeah, or this, you could use this is better used for this kind of thing. Or
great example. So something I just used was that I cold casted that little helmet with Jill. That's the gold leaf metallic powders, which are the best.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna send Eric a little baggie actually in the mail, and they're great for cold casting. They're so phenomenal. But mixing them in a paint or mixing that particular aluminum in a paint and spraying it didn't work. The gold sprayed beautifully. Aluminum didn't spray the same way.
Yeah,
and that's just it's metal flake. It is what it is.
That right there, I love now. I filed that away.
Yeah, but you'll love those powders so much you'll change your life. But just now don't spray the aluminum because you'll be so excited and then you'll be so sad because the gold it hyped me up so high.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, that's
different. They're different, like microns. The way that they're ground down.
Oh,
yeah, that makes a difference in the way that they reflect light. So it.
Yeah.
Depending on the grind, depending on the depending on the size of the flake, it makes a difference with.
Even though your eyes obviously can't see it, and you have to wear a respirator because boy, is it everywhere.
Well, because it's all just about light reflection, right?
Yeah.
Or refraction, I guess. Just the way it.
And so the little bitty pigments are the little bitty microns of the gold, because it even says fine. It's a fine blend, and that is just so beautiful. But the aluminum is a heavier metal.
And that cast looked great, especially in a photo, which because my experience has been that golds don't really look that great with cold casting. That it's the bronzes and like the silvers look a lot more convincing. But that gold looked phenomenal, and especially in a photo, which tells me that in person it looks like wow.
I feel in that, and I know you can relate to that, and so can you. I can't wait for people to see some of these pieces in person, because I feel like I can't even get a good enough photo. And I know that you guys deal with that all the time. It's like, because you want people to see this is incredible in person, and so that's the beauty of actually going and getting to wear your costume and people to see it. But Bev, actually, I want to say something about you've done now that you've done a lot of casting with silicone. I did a whole bunch. I'm talking like a monster load. There's a bucket back there of scale testing with my dragon skin, with metal powders, eyeshadows, everything. I ordered like packs and packs from this like trade site that's for making your own makeup, and the metal, doing like a light brush into the sheet molds and then putting the dragon skin in. Oh man, they're so beautiful. They're so beautiful, those metals. That silver brushes so well. But I got this this like thinner, I guess, that they at Smooth On, they'll tell you how to use anything. I got this awesome thinner, and this is a technique that one of those famous Instagram sites uses. And I was like, man, how are they getting their scales so shiny? Because when you pull them out, they're shiny, but they aren't as, I wanted them to be glossy. Yeah. And it was the technique of doing using the thinner. And it's actually not called silicone thinner. I have that. It's this metal container, and you can spray it.
So that's Psycho Paint? Is that Psycho?
I have Psycho Paint. It's
because there's a gloss version of that if you use that, it makes it very, very shiny, and you can use it through an airbrush as well.
Yeah.
So does it get sprayed on after then? Is that the deal?
That does. But the Invac, I have all of that stuff too. This stuff is called like an Invac or Invac or something. It's like some kind of
Novak. Is it Novak?
Maybe, yeah, sounds right. It's in a metal container. I have it upstairs, and I feel like I bet you have it. And if you have it, that'll definitely help me explain it.
So it looks like a metal container.
Thank you. Yes.
Solvent. Never heard of it.
It's a solvent. That's the word.
It's a silicone solvent.
So I did this weird thing where I put that in so I did a mix of a thin layer of the dragon skin, and I poured it on and used like a little spatula, and then I put the solvent, I brushed solvent on it as it was curing, and so it was like a thick glaze, so it filled any of my little itty bitty imperfections. So it was like this low key way to have like it worked kind of like XTC 3D, but obviously it's not resin, but like that solvent stuff. Awesome.
I use that stuff to weather the silicone on my Hello suit, because I didn't want the green color going directly up against the black, because I wanted it to be a little grungy.
Blending. Because
she's so goth. But yeah, so you can mix it with, I guess, anything. You can. But I was mixing it with the
Psycho Paint.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you buy it in so let me see here. What is this? this stuff. Yeah, so this
Also
is
rewatching painting stuff.
What was I using? Sostrom? No, it was the silicone dye paint.
Silk Pig or whatever.
Silk Pig.
Silk Pig, yes. So I was mixing that.
Got those up there.
I mixed it a little bit with that, so you can hand paint that too. And it's I love
Wait,
it.
you can hand paint. You can hand paint Silk Pig.
Yeah,
really?
You have to mix it with this other stuff.
Yeah. But you can actually. Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought you could only use it as like a mixture in. So.
Well, that is. So I made a mixture. So you do the.
I don't know if I do anything the right way. It just works. So she probably can agree to that. It's like Eric's like, this is the technical way, and I'm like, uh-oh.
So you can dye it with the Silk Pig. So you make your mixture, your Psycho Paint.
Yeah.
Put those together, and then you do a little bit. It's like 200% ratio, or at least like twice the amount of Psycho Paint that you have. You pour the Novox in there, and then you mix the Silk Pig in there.
Otherwise, it stays gummy.
Right. And then you can. The more Novox you put in there, the thinner it is for airbrushing. Or if you put just the minimum amount in there, then you can hand brush it, and it works pretty well.
I had no idea that was possible. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And I did seaweed, and I did some of the UV green, like the super like reactive green one. And I was like brushing little things in it, but it's tedious, but it's fun. I didn't spray any of my silicone stuff because I was just nervous to put it through my airbrush. Back in the day, I was like scared to use my airbrush for enamels and stuff. Now I'm like, whatever. But Eric actually broke me on that because he was spraying lacquers and stuff, or enamels and lacquers, and I just thought, like, he's doing it. Like, why shouldn't I be spraying this stuff instead of hand brushing all my lacquers and stuff on? So now
I don't do a lot of airbrushing because my clean space is inside, and I have cats and we have kids, and I just don't want that. I made the mistake once of not really being safe about doing it in a well ventilated area, and I was painting some boots with some gold metallic. And I looked up, and there was like a gold haze.
You get like that.
Haze.
You get like that.
Hey,
oh,
this
cloud.
So bad.
That cloud.
A gold cloud.
Yeah.
That was not smart. And then you could tell that there was a little film like on the immediate vicinity over.
You get a little. It's just a little extra gold dust to make everything fancy.
Yeah.
And this is definitely an age thing too. Is like the older we get, I feel like I am really weird about safety. Like if I'm spraying lacquers and stuff, I have my respirator on. I don't just open the door. I still put my respirator on. My Nana came in yesterday, and I was spraying chrome on the little Anduins, and I was like, Nana, it's, don't come in here. And she just walks right in, and there's a haze in the thing. And I have the door open, but it's still, you don't want people around. And I don't use barge contact cement inside. I have a table outside for it. I don't use Bondo inside or like spot putty outside because I don't want to trap the vapors at all. I'm
the same train of thought on that one. It's not worth it to have an airbrushed surface if you're going to do it inside and have all that crap in your lungs.
And you think like, oh, I feel fine, and I'm not stupid. It's not making me stupid. Yeah, but all of a sudden you forget things more often, or you are drooling a lot more, or maybe you've got hair growing out of your ear.
I do drool at night, and my hearing's kind of going, and
my hearing. I feel like I don't know if it's all the tools I've been using. Actually, I've started using earplugs on a regimen because I'm going all the time in my life, and I feel like it's annoying everyone. And so the compressors, it's loud when it pops, and it's right behind me, so I need to be more careful about that. But so that's a fun thing. Safety is important.
Absolutely. I finally got my spray booth sort of set up. I need to get my fan set up though, but just having that's been really, really nice. So,
can I tell you something crazy about a fan?
What's that?
So the three people in this experience right here that you guys are listening to, I think we're all serial researchers, and we love to read, and we love to have as much. We're kind of like know-it-alls to ourselves. We want to have everything, know-it-all. So I was looking into doing a spray booth in this really awesome space over there. I've got this great downdraft system. And then I found out that fans have this little like thing. That
I know what you're gonna say. If you use there's a certain type of fan. If you use the wrong kind of fan, if you're using flammable paints, it can actually cause a fire.
I know. Yes. Yeah. And I was like, why are all these people recommending this to me? They want me to die?
Oh my God.
I can't remember which way it is, but essentially there's two different kinds of fans, if I remember right. It's like brushless and then non-brushless. And one of them causes like little electrical sparks when the fan's running, and other ones don't. So,
oh my God. Yeah. That's like my nightmare. Yeah,
but
it's mine. I know. I was like, gosh, explosions freak me out. Like I always.
But the majority of like the industrial type fans that you would use to like, buy from like an industrial outlet type place, like Granger or somebody like that. Most of those are all the right type. So you just have to research it a little bit. Yeah, because I learned.
It's a good thing to mention though, because a lot of people just like go buy a box fan.
Yeah. Just you don't. I mean. It's kind of debatable about whether or not, if you're just like spraying with this like an airbrush, if you can really push enough vapor for it to be that big of an issue. But
my concern was like spraying with a big gun.
Yeah, but the safety, the very safety conscious side of it is make sure you have the right fan if you're going to set up a spray booth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I learned about that too recently because I've been researching fans for my spray booth. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I looked into it too. So it's to me it's like it's better to just have that knowledge and be aware of things than
so don't just take take any old fan and use it as your exhaust fan is the lesson of that story. So
yeah. If you're gonna spray rattle cans or something, especially, that's like pretty flammable.
Yeah. The aerosol in those is really flammable. So there you have it. Do not catch yourself on fire. That's bad.
Speaking of fans, I don't know if you can see, I have a 3D printer over there. Yeah. It's a CR10 and it's really noisy when it prints and I have to have it inside because I want to make sure that it's the temperature, isn't controlled in the garage. Not that I'm putting ABS with it because it doesn't print ABS without the enclosure, but I've been following this tutorial on how to swap out the noisy fans with some silent fans.
I did all that.
And oh my God, I'm going to have to bug you about that, Eric, because I've been learning along the way that I've been using the wrong solder for like this whole time and that like everything that I do could possibly cause fires because it'll like eventually break down if it doesn't contain lead or if it's like the lead-free kind or not lead-free, if it's silver, there's like an acid in there that can eventually erode and you can have a higher risk of it catching fire. So I had to buy all this stuff in this project that I thought was only going to take me like, half a day. I haven't even, it's like all sitting there right now, the soldering stuff.
I see flux, stuff,
about flux, like what the heck is this flux stuff? Well, I guess that's like safer to use the flux. So like now I'm kind of freaked out. Like, and I have to 3D print something. Half of me is like, I just want to have somebody else do it.
I don't blame you for that. It's the effort thing and time.
Yeah. Well, also I don't want to do it wrong and then like cause a fire in my house.
Yeah, and printers are a little more. It's one thing to just string up a thing of LEDs and connect it to a 9-volt battery. It's another thing to have this thing that heats up to several hundred degrees in your house, and has all these safety mechanisms to keep it from burning up. So, but yeah, I was going to say with the CR10. I think the biggest and best upgrade for quiet is getting the dampeners for the Y and Z, and those only cost like $15. So
I have those on order. They're like in Germany still or something.
Yeah, I splurged and spent like the extra whatever to get them off Amazon in like the 3-day thing, and so but that was out of all the things that I did with mine. I mean, the quieter fans is really nice, but the whine is like so much lower with the dampeners. It's like. That's probably the one I've been recommending to people the most. So.
Yeah. All right.
But I blame you for buying a CR10. So because you told me to buy one because you really liked yours. So.
I do like mine. I had what is it? It's on the floor now. I'm not even using it. The Dreamer, and it's terrible. I don't like it.
Yeah, that one was a few years old though, right?
Yeah, and it was really expensive at the time. It was like $1,100 for this teeny tiny print platform and that thing. And I bought it. I bought this one from Tiny Machines. So they QC'd it and they made sure it was like, you know, everything was working. So I didn't have to deal with that because I'm like the least technical, you know, I that kind of stuff just mystifies me and I get frustrated and I can't do it. And it's like taxes. Like I just can't. Someone else has to do it for me.
Oh man. I like tinkering and creating stuff, but the like printer stuff I just don't enjoy. I don't know why. Like if it's like in a prop or something like that, I can really enjoy it. I can get behind it. I love all of my little gizmos and gadgets I've gotten from Adafruit over the years. They're all organized in like the cutest pink boxes. But when it comes to that printer, nope. I'm not interested. It's like I have to force myself. It reminds me of doing homework. Like I want to be like, Mom!
God, good point.
So upset about it.
That's why I hate it so much.
How about you two just send me your CR10s? I'll have 3 here. Anytime you need something, just send me the file. I'll print it, send it to you, and then I'll just keep it all maintained, and then I'll have 3 printers. I think that's a great deal.
I'm full on in support of that.
Will you rewire my fan back into my printer?
Absolutely.
Reconnect my hot
Absolutely. I can do all that. So
I got a new microscope hot end.
I'll just drive it up to you, Eric, and we can, you know, hang out and leave my printer.
I can totally work on it for you. So I swapped out all my fans. I swapped out my hot end. I've done all that stuff. So, but I'm pretty confident in working with electronics. I mean, I'm not the best, but.
Yeah, me too, but I don't enjoy that thing because it's not even just the electronics. It's like, oh, the bed is not level.
I like just the other day, I figured out how to use this breadboard that I've had for like a year and a half, and I couldn't remember what it was called. Yeah. So that's the level that I'm at. Like I can't even remember how. And I was trying to, oh my God! So I was trying to figure out how to test a circuit on there. So I finally, it was either watch a 10 or 12 minute long tutorial on it, which I wound up doing, or go down to my neighbor's house and ask their 9-year-old son to come over and help me with it because he's into all of like circuitry and stuff like that. I was like, I'm just going to go get him and have him come teach
me. Nothing like a neighborhood whiz kid, right? You're just like, hey.
I love that. I love that kids are so into that stuff, man. That's so cool. I would love to. I think about that all the time. I'm like, man, I should contact my local high school. It's just down the road and see if there's like an electronics club or like any kind of cool club because kids, you pay a kid something to do something and like they want to do it. So it's done really cool and really well. And like they can benefit from the money, put it towards college or a Switch or something.
Yeah, give him a little business experience too.
No, I think about that. I'm like, man, I could totally use some of those little guys.
So that's some minions. There you go.
So since we sort of got on the topic of 3D printing a little bit, you did the Yondu fin. Have you done any other? Like larger 3D stuff since then, or is that just kind of the one that you did and haven't really had the chance to go back to it because what you've been working on lately just hadn't really required 3D printing?
So that fin was like, I actually modeled that myself from scratch. Yeah,
I know, and you did a wonderful job on it. And I have the file, and I can't wait to print it out.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that. It's in 2 parts as well. Or maybe the one that you have is in 1 part. I'm not quite sure what you have, but so that was a huge project. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I like spending my time not pulling out my hair with the 3D modeling.
Yes, that's exactly the way I feel.
Yeah, I you know what, and that is okay. I've given myself permission to not go down that rabbit hole. I think that there are people like your Jackie, is it Jill?
Jill, yeah.
Well, yeah, she's, you know, I would rather support someone else and pay someone to do that for me, and then I can focus on something else because I know how to tinker and I know how to slice things, which is helpful for sure. So I can like import a file and I can print it on my own. So I'm good with that amount of knowledge right now, but I don't really want to get into Fusion 360 or anything complicated like that because it's just like it hurts my brain. It hurts my brain so much. I'd rather focus on some more hands-on stuff, and that's just me.
Well, I'm actually right there with you. So
I understand that. It's and like the thing with 3D modeling is like I want to learn it because I enjoy like laying in bed and working on my patterns or something. I'd like to have like a little something I could tinker with periodically, but it's not something I could do that with. So I've been watching videos and trying to just absorb as much information as I can. Here's my problem though. I'm just focusing on ZBrush because I'm interested in learning ZBrush, but I need like a fundamental program. Like I need like Fusion 360 or something. So I have Blender because it's free and I thought I would try Blender. Then I went down this rabbit hole of learning that Blender, although it is free, is actually not that beginner friendly.
No,
it's clunky.
All I've ever heard about
it's just
is that it's like great. It's really, really difficult to use.
Yeah. Everywhere I read that, and I looked all over, like anybody that has a good thing with Blender, and I played with Blender for a little bit, and then I was like, man, I don't want to get discouraged and stop here because I'm using a program that's just fundamentally flawed. So I'm going to try something else, and it's going to be a long, slow learning process for me because I'm just like you guys. Like I don't really want to. I want the independence of learning how to make my own models, but I want to at least like know how to change things on models and stuff like that. Like even if I don't get to the point where I am making all my own models myself, if I have a friend that does something for me that's like not exactly how I want it, I can then amp it up like a combo kind of thing. So it's and I could tinker with things on like a small, slow project, but I don't ever see myself doing it like hardcore.
What program were you using, Beverly, for when you did like the Yondu Fin?
Well, so that was all built in 123D.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Which isn't supported. Yeah.
Which is a bummer because I find that was basic enough for me to understand. Like, okay, there aren't so many buttons on this. There's like the menu is pretty limited, so that was a good way for me to learn like the how to manipulate shapes and how to order shapes around and how to extrude things and how to round, like how to put a bevel on something. So. That was how I designed that. And honestly, I don't think I designed it correctly because when I print it, there's like one little part on the edge of it that always seems to have a little hole in it. So I think that there's something wrong with the surface. I had some
little piece.
Well, if you put it in 3D Builder and then you repair it and then export it, a lot of times it'll fix that.
Yeah, there's
fun fact because I do it with Pepakura models that I've 3D printed that I really should not have.
I finally, someone recommended that I go onto, what was it? It's not Netform, or maybe it's Netform, it's Netfab or something. There's some like website where it'll fix it, it'll repair it for you. Yeah, really fast.
Yeah, that's if you have a PC. It's called 3D Builder. I didn't even know it was in the computer. Jill told me about it. And when I import it, it'll say like these things need repairing, blah blah, and you repair it, and it just like fixes. It's the meshing situation that I don't know about yet, and it fixes things.
Oh, well, I have a Mac, so I don't have that, but there is a website.
Yeah, I say Microsoft has, like if you just Google Microsoft Repair 3D model, there's like a web version of it. I've used it a few times. So.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome. Yeah.
Simple. So that's how I fixed my printer, my
models.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
My file.
mentioned 123D. Bill told me about that a while ago and then told me, but don't worry, no point in diving in because it's not going to be supported. And he's the one that mentioned Blender. But that reminds me of beginner things. Pixelogic, who owns ZBrush and creates that, the publisher for it. They also have something called Sculptress, which is a free download, and it's like a baby version of ZBrush for beginners. I just watched a whole thing about that, and I was like, why has no one mentioned this to me? I am the beginner of beginners. Like, I know nothing.
I'm gonna get my stepson on that so he can teach me all this.
Yes. Oh, can I have a stepson?
Yes, you need. Yeah. There's nothing better than a 3D minion, right? I mean, come on.
Right.
Kids, man, I gotta go hang out at the high school and get me a kid, man.
We'll just not touch that because take it out of context. That's just not.
I don't think they'll let me podcast in jail.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
At least we'll let 3D models.
Goodness. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that is like just has a little bit of an aversion to embracing 3D modeling. So for me, a lot of it is like I feel like I've worked with 2D stuff for so long, like with computers, like with Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff, that my brain has like this really hard time of switching into like seeing things in a 3D space, and then that just makes me panic and get all frustrated. So I don't know. Do you have a similar kind of thing, or is it more just it's better, more fun to just be in the workshop?
I find I connect with my temper like way faster when I'm in the 3D space.
Yeah, I get that.
Man.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm usually like an even keel person,
Connecting
but
with
I like
temper.
after
I like that.
an hour. Yeah, I can't, like, if there's something, like, I'll walk away and be like, okay, I need to put myself in a timeout. And if I do that more than a few times, like, you know what, this is not the process for me. I'm going to switch gears. So I do that enough times, and I just haven't gone back to 3D modeling. It's just, that's fine. I have so much respect for people who can do it, because they're so talented. It's just, that's just not where, like, I can't fix cars. It's fine. I'm not going to try.
Yeah, you have to have the passion for wanting to learn it, because it's like everybody I meet that is so passionate about 3D modeling and is either self-taught or went to school, they wanted, that was like what they were really attracted to 3D modeling. They were like, oh, I can't wait to make a 3D model. It's like the way that we make something in the way that we do it. They throw themselves into it. They really love it. And so you have to have that passion to want to learn it, because it is tedious, but it's I don't know.
I tell you though, we watched Infinity War this last weekend, and we stayed for the whole credits. And I love pointing out to the kids, like, all the CGI.
Yeah.
They're like, look at all of those people. Like, that is a thing. You guys could do that. You could work on projects like this. You could have a hand in something amazing like this. Like,
every company has CGI. NFL has 3D. Content creators, like every company has that.
Like, be a part of the creation process and do it digitally, and get in on that. Like, create the video games and create the stuff that you guys have been playing, and be a software engineer.
There's always a zillion jobs for whatever the heck that is. So much software engineer jobs.
Plus then you can work on my projects, and you can do stuff.
So beyond like 3D work, is there? And I know, like, your first costume was your Lady Sif, and you used Warbler for that. Is there, like, at this point, like, fast forward, 4 years to now, is there, like, a particular material or something that it's like you feel like is, like, your go-to thing? Like, you look at something, you're like, I know I can totally make that out of this? Or are you more still at that stage of, like, I just continue to want to learn new materials and new processes and things?
Can I say duct tape?
What?
I'm just kidding. I can make anything out of duct tape. No.
That's a talent right there, man.
Well, I love. Actually, I've been really into making, like, the best duct tape dummy that I possibly can. Like, it's like there's a science behind it. But I think now because I used to be a huge fan of Warbler, and now I like to use that as a support structure behind my EVA foam, just because I realize that it cuts down on finishing time, and you have that smoother foam surface. Depends on what I'm doing. So there's no real one thing that is my go-to. I mean, it might be foam, maybe, but I will definitely look at something and be like, okay, what's going to take me less time to create this? Because I'm looking, like, not just 3 steps down the road. I'm trying to look like 10 steps down the road and be like, okay, what part of this is going to be a giant nightmare for me?
Yeah, right.
And when am I going to be like, oh, I wish I'd used this material instead. So if it's a new material, I get a little excited about that, but I'm also nervous. So that's why I research the heck out of it. And then along the way, that becomes my favorite material. So
yeah,
like I mean, you know what I mean? I like using silicone. I'm super comfortable with silicone now. Like I could throw that on any costume for anything, and I would feel good about it. Like, it's no big deal. Like, that's done. Like, let's focus on some other complicated weird thing. LEDs, I kind of want to learn, but again, the electronic stuff kind of scares me. I don't want to light on fire at a con.
You'll be all right. If you put LEDs near silicone, you're good. It's not gonna light.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
They won't. It should be fine.
It kind of depends on the costume too. I mean, if it's the right character, they may be like, "Wow, that was amazing," but other than you're on fire. But whatever.
Don't be on fire. Don't do it.
So maybe foam. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Maybe
I feel like foam's my go-to. Foam's like the basis for everything for me. Like,
yeah.
I love TNT's foam. I love I have some of their it's the foam that like they skin off the top. It's like the imperfect stuff. They sent some in a box of a shipment that I got a while ago. They sent some as padding for the rest of the actual stuff that I ordered. And I contacted them and I was like, hey, if you have any more of this stuff, I want to buy it from you because it's really thin. It's what I used on my Hippolyta chest plate just to cover up the seams because it stretches really well, but it's still pretty strong. So I just glued it to the chest piece and covered all my seams, which is amazing. So they sent me some. I still have some. So I love that stuff, and I'm always trying to find an excuse to use that because it stretches really, really well. And I just love the surface. It's like you can't really beat their stuff. They're
gonna be carrying Warbler soon too. So for everybody that was like TNT supply, it's no Warbler, like they're foam people. They are cosplay supply people.
Yeah.
Like they want to equip us with everything. They're looking into how to get the foam clay, which I ordered from Australia, and now to find out the Dutch one or the Belgian one is different in consistency. So I'm also gonna order that one. So I need to get it in America though. Gosh, for convenience.
Yeah, on TNT, just like carry all the stuff. And
they're always actively trying to get new products, which makes me so happy. Like every time I'm like, Tony, do you see this? And they're like, we've already spoken to distributors. Like they're on it.
And they're just great people too, right? Because they help all of us out. So it's just like I cannot shout out to them enough. And Smooth On too. We talked about Smooth On earlier, but they've treated us all very well. So. None of them are official sponsors of our show, but they kind of sponsor all of us individually though. So it's just like definitely product loyalty. So
I think that their willingness to be such a huge positive force in the cosplay community is really like a testament to how this community should be working. Like we should be helping each other out. We should be, helping each other make awesome stuff.
Absolutely. And
something else about TNT before we move on. It just occurred to me, and you should talk to them about this, Bev. Evil Ted and My Patterns are going to be available through their store with pre-made kits. So they're handling all of that. So you'll be able to like purchase like My Mercy breastplate, and that will include like these things that they have compiled in a kit for how to create it. So they have like people that work there. They're going to do that. Ted was, they contacted me after they were talking to Ted about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I definitely want to do that. So you should talk to them if you're interested in that, because I think it's really cool that they're helping to like develop this whole kit thing. So if people are really lost about what they need, this will be everything you need there.
That's a really cool idea too, because I think sometimes one of the most overwhelming things when you first start out is you research, right? And you know what you want to build, and then you research what you should build it out of. And then the material list is just like, what do I choose? What do I get? And I could see how for brand new and for noobs, how that would be like super helpful to just be like, here's the kit, here's all the stuff you need.
Yeah, and the Wonder Woman chest piece, like for example, would be perfect for that.
Yeah. We have our patterns up on Ted's shop right now for the Wonder Woman.
So I was like, well, I need to get everybody, because everybody has each other on their different shops, and I haven't set up my actual website store yet. Like, why am I not doing that? Because then I could have everybody. We could all just be this big circle of people. I love that.
And I've definitely been wanting to talk to you, Jackie, because I do want to have a big cosplay pattern store, like dedicated to foam stuff, things that we could, so that we have our instructions for the builders that aren't necessarily seamstresses. I mean, it wouldn't be the same kind of pattern that you would get like for a sewing pattern, but we should talk.
We should talk. I'm telling you, and I didn't realize how much of a demand for it there was, but it logically makes sense. People want to have time is everything, and we want to spend it with our families, but we want to make stuff. So.
Sure. And I love the patterns because you make it, you spend time on it, you make it as good as you can, and then you set it free out into the world, and be like, baby bird.
I love setting it free. It's the best. Yeah. And then you see somebody made something with it, and you're like, oh my gosh, that was fast.
That's so cool. I love it. I love getting tagged in those, and you're like, this is my first costume I ever made. Like, oh my God, that is such an honor. I just love that.
Know. The first costume I've ever made line blows my mind, because I'm like, man, like Jace, full Elven, she's awesome. She got all my Sylvanas and Alex Straza stuff, and manipulated them all and made her very first costume that was a full Alex Strauss build in like, I don't know, it felt to me like she built it in 2 weeks. It could have been longer than that, but I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, the horn, that's a complex thing to do. Horns and it had a lot of, detailing and beveled edges and stuff. And she made her own
That's a very complex build.
Yeah, and she did it. And I just thought like, wow. Like that's a crazy thing to think about, is like with the right instructions, you can take a creative person and just help them figure out how to take their creativity and put it into your world. Yeah. It's so fun. I love it.
So one other thing I wanted to bring up was, you started talking about, spreading, goodwill and positivity in the community and stuff. And you're kind of the genesis of several Facebook groups that are dedicated to that. Do you want to talk about those at all, or? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. So a lot of these things, these groups, these Facebook groups are born from my frustrations with not having a place to talk about things, or like I want to inspire people to talk to each other, or that kind of thing. So the very first one that I did was Epic Families of Cosplay, which was, I just wanted a place for families, a safe place for families to share their family photos in cosplay if they wanted to do that, because I know sharing photos of kids in costume is kind of a thing that a lot of people don't want to do. So that's a private group. But if you find us and you request, then we give us a chance to kind of figure out if you are actually a cosplaying family or if you're not.
Yeah.
So
I'm a member of that group, by the way. So
Yes. Yeah. I love that group. It's a nice supportive group. It hasn't gotten a lot of. Once in a while, it gets some love, but it's still there, still supporting. We did Heather and I started Amazon Sisters of Themyscira, and that was like the day after we watched Wonder Woman, because we wanted.
Because you guys were just like jacked, right?
Yeah, we were. Yeah, that was. I love that group, and that group is awesome because there are little chapters of cosplayer or groups that are in different cities, and they'll work on their costumes together, and they'll go to a con, and they'll get photos together, and they'll meet other people that are coming in from out of town, and they'll help each other. And we've got patterns up there that are free for our ladies to use. So it's just a ladies only group, unless you identify as female. So we've got some tools there to help the women make their own Amazon warrior, because we really wanted that to happen.
I think that's so cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. I love that group. It's a super supportive group where it's everything we wanted it to be more. And then the latest one is called She Prop, and I love this group. I started this group because I was getting tired of people asking me if I made that Hella helmet all by myself, and I was like. Yes. Make all of my things up by myself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, I did. So instead of getting like all angry about it and yelling on Facebook about it, I started this She Prop group with my friend Heather and my other friend Abby, who's the other part of Epic Echo. And that group is just for female prop makers and costumers, and it's a forum. I know there's a theme here.
There is.
It's a forum for women who want to talk about their costumes, or they want to ask questions and they don't want to get mansplained. I mean, really, that's pretty much that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Because
I heard that happens on the internet.
Yeah, it happens all the time. So that does not happen on this group. It's a safe group. It's a closed group. We have another page. So there's a community page, and that is closed, but you can join. You just have to answer a couple of questions. And then there's a public page where we highlight female maker. We try to do it every day, but everyone's kind of busy. So we just want to be a support group and a place where people where our ladies can come and ask a question where they don't get, laughed at like on some other forums.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, there are a few other forums out there that are pretty large that have a lot of
jerks. But can I just say something really fast? Like,
I was going to say a-holes, but
I just need to say this. No, this isn't what you expect. But like, so there was no. So back in the day, when a lady gave birth to a man. I'm talking like billions of years ago. That's just I'm just exaggerating. You
Welcome to the section of Jackie explains it all.
The lady gave birth. The man figured out how to have the baby with the lady, right? Because men definitely know how to do that. But then the woman gives birth, survives it with no doctors. Dang, genius right there. Then also is like, dang, something's coming out of my lady bag. And if my baby needs food, I'm a genius. I'm gonna try this, make sure I don't die, and then feed my baby. Genius. Little baby man then grew up to be an adult man. All because of genius Neanderthal mama.
Yep.
That was like, dang, my lady bags made nutrients to save my baby. Nobody told ladies to do all these magical lady baby raising things before, sciencey stuff was about. So, why did all of a sudden men think, man, women are stupid? What? You did what? You wouldn't be here if a lady didn't know how to work her lady bags at the very beginning of time.
Yeah.
I just feel like we just need to address that. I don't know when this started, the shift of men thinking that women were stupid, but it's never been the case.
Well,
yeah.
It's never been stupid.
Let's just say it's a section of men that think that they have to.
I know. So. When I say men, it definitely is not a generalization. I've met most men in my life are respectful.
Yeah. Well, I think this little forum that we have is it's a nice kind of place for women who wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable posting on the replica.
Yeah, like I don't have any friends that would post
some other place.
I wish they would. I got posted in there. I wouldn't even post there myself.
No.
Yeah.
And I've thought about posting that my patterns are for sale, which is actually a really good avenue and where people would want to have them, especially because I have guy patterns too. And it's like, no, I don't really want to because it's just so toxic.
Yeah. And that crossed over too, I kind of miss the prior days where that happened a little less. So, but instead of it getting like super angry about it, we created a group.
And when I saw that you created that group and the genesis behind it, I was like, that's really cool. I'm glad that exists. So
yeah. And it's great. Yeah. I mean, we've been noticing some trends. Like people will be like, "Hey, girls, I'm trying to dye this fabric. Yeah. Like, what do I do?" And like instantly, there's like 5 different people that are like, "You do this and this and this, or try this, or I'm following this." And I'll see that same question posted in other forums, in other groups, and it's just like crickets. No one is helping. Yeah. So it's just another avenue for support and for celebrating and helping.
And I would say that I think part of it probably too is that it cuts down on because there's always that kind of like creeper aspect of the internet too, right? Especially when it comes to costuming and maybe like somebody posts something about, hey, this isn't fitting right, or I need help with this or whatever, and then you end up with like a whole bunch of basically just gross comments instead of anything helpful. And depending on the page, they may not have moderators that are on top of things, and then things kind of go, get left, and then people end up, people that originally started out excited about this hobby, and they end up being like, I don't really want to do this anymore, and I hate that happens. That really bothers me. So knowing that there's like groups like you created to be more of like, for lack of better words, like a safe place, especially for women to be like, hey, let's work on this together, and we can, get around all of the other crap that comes along with it. I just think it's awesome. So.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it is. It's very necessary.
If anyone wants to join.
What's the name of the group? Did you send me a message about this?
No.
I think I probably did. Well, we
got highlighted. And then because they tagged Craft and Geek.
Oh, that's where I saw it. Okay.
So, and that's like the page, the public page, but the community page is called She Prop, and there's an exclamation at the end of that. So there's community. Okay. So if you join that, then we'll get you in. So our requirements are that you are female or that you identify as female. And that you're not a jerk.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I see that it's a community.
No jerks.
That you're not a jerk.
It doesn't matter what gender you are. Jerks are not tolerated.
Right. Yeah. supportive
I don't
group.
tolerate jerks.
Oh, look, Jackie Kraft asked to join.
I liked it, and I requested to be a member of this very cool lady group because I love ladies.
Let's see if I can be the first one to accept you, because we have some really cool moderators
They're
on
just
there.
like on top. Boom, they're done.
They're like on top of it. Of course, my phone is like.
I love lady stuff. I have nothing. I love guys too. Totally, guys are great. But I just bond. I bond in the cosplay community really well with ladies.
Yeah.
Like, I like talking shop and stuff with the guys. Love it. And I have a great group of guy friends, Eric included, obviously. But I love the ladies in this group that I bonded with are just so much fun. It's a different way to bond. It's just, I don't know. It's everything I wanted high school to be.
Oh, for sure. Well, and bring that up. It's always been important for me to be an example, a positive example for my stepdaughter and for my stepson, because women can do whatever they want. And,
exactly.
We're capable of doing.
It's the year of the woman. That's why I keep telling people.
Well, and Eric, I know you feel the same way when we were talking about the Wonder Woman movie last year when that came out. It was like. It's just awesome that our girls can grow up in this kind of world. Not that Jackie and I, not that we had like a terrible time or anything, but it's nice to see things progressing. It's nice to see things progressing. And I like to feel like I have a stamp on that. Like I have the ability to make a positive change like that too, instead of just yelling about it on the internet. Like actually,
I feel like we are kindred spirits in that way, because I'm not a post on the internet, posting groups. I don't think that ever works. I feel like always take the high road, always be positive. Even if you do post, you still should be positive. And it's like, even the older I get and the more I think about that, the more it resonates with me. And I feel like it's, even if it hurts you and you want to react, you take that strike upon yourself and you still take the high road. And now I'm not talking about crazy stuff. I'm talking about just like, mansplaining, things like that. I feel like it always being a strong female example and just showing the right path is the best way to be.
Yeah.
Well, and I live in a house with 3 women, so and I've raised along with my amazing wife, we've raised 2 women, and which I can't believe I can call them women now, but I can. And
it's crazy.
And the thing is like, as a father, I have never ever thought, oh well, you're a girl, you can't do this. It's never it's never ever been a thought in my mind. It's been like, okay, you want to do that, let's do it. Because they're people. Women are people. What do you know? And if I just feel like if more guys would just treat women like people, that the world would be a lot better place. And that's how I approach life, and that's how I approach my relationships with females in my life. Is they're just people.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know, and it just seems so simple to me.
It seems and it is with a lot of people in our community. And
I've never understood that mindset, of holding people back because, oh, you're a woman, you can't do this, or you're a girl, you can't do this, or on the other side, you're a guy, you can't do this. I've never prescribed to those conventions, because
me either. I agree with that.
If you want to do that, do it. I mean, there really shouldn't be anything holding you back, kind of thing. And I hope that not only me personally, but us as with the podcasters and just people in the community and stuff, that we project that. So that's all I've ever wanted to do.
I think you definitely do. I love this podcast. I think you guys make
we love that you love the podcast, and we love you.
And like Jackie, I gotta say, you're such a pillar of like information and support and like inspiration. I just love. I love hearing about your projects. I love hearing like where you're going with things. It's like you're like an unstoppable force, girl, and I love it.
Thank you. Well, you are too. I feel like we are. I don't know. I'm really excited that Eric has brought us together. I'm really excited because you're a wonderful asset. You're a wonderful addition to my female community that I love so much. I think that you're doing awesome things. I hope that we can do some awesome things together. It's really cool. I like that. I like that we're paving the way for lots of really cool girls to grow up and do anything they want to be. Absolutely. And be as confident with, wearing crazy headdresses out in public.
And we should definitely do a line of wearable like armor, like everyday armor.
Girl, I think about all the time. Last night I was thinking, man, the makeup layer. I could wear it too.
Urban armor, not Under Armour. Urban armor, not Under Armour.
I love it.
I love it.
Love it. Oh my gosh.
Right? Because who doesn't want?
Yeah, because like, and if we're being honest, back in the day, you know, Epaulettes and stuff, they were part of fashion. And women's fancy dresses with like the hip things, you know, like the hip little patty things. I don't know what they're called. Yeah. Marie Antoinette, or was it Queen Elizabeth? That famous dress that's either at the Met or the one in England. It's like an all metal dress.
Oh yeah, it's it's so cool.
It's so cool. Like
I wish I had all the time in the world and all the things.
I think all the time about I want to make something really elaborate and really like from a time period. I feel like that would be my kind of like holy grail personal project, like very intricate, beautiful fabrics, beautiful pieces, either armor or like an Elizabethan dress. But things like that are like crazy, you know.
Yeah, I know what
special talent. I'd actually like to the Lost Colony. Just side note. Well, I know we're wrapping up, but the Lost Colony is filmed on my island, obviously, because it's where the colony disappeared that settled here, and they have a beautiful outdoor drama that happens and every year during the summer, and the costumes are incredible. I'm talking, they are so beautiful. It's insane. And I was like, man, I should really take a tour of that and show everybody online what the heck that is about, because it'll blow your mind, those freaking costumes. Like the stuff that people wore back then are insane anyway, but all of my family members up until my generation all acted in it. My Uncle Mark and my Nana, they were with Andy Griffith. He acted in it. He is actually his house is at the end of the island right before you get to the Lost Colony. So it's so cool. It's a beautiful landmark of our community. You grew up and everybody acted in it here. Like my grandmother was the baby and then went on to be an Indian dancer. And it's my great grandmother was a Gona for 27 years. She's the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest female role in an outdoor drama.
That's a thing. Oh my god!
I have pictures of her in my lobby and stuff, and it's this beautiful staple where people visited all over to the Outer Banks because of this cool story, birth of the first English child and whatnot. And the thing is, like the colony disappeared, so people have always wanted to come here, and all the locals always acted in it because that's what you did back then. And it's just such a cool thing in the costuming community. So I don't know. I should showcase it because it's really interesting.
I'd love to learn more about that.
Hey,
it's cool.
So before we wrap up, I just have a couple more things to ask Beverly. What is there anything? I know you said you're working on a secret project. You can't talk about that, but is there anything else on the horizon that you have planned that people can look forward to seeing you debuting, or are you just a secret project and that's it for now?
Well, the secret project I want to do a really nice job on. So it's gonna be my project for this summer.
Gotcha. And at some point that'll be unveiled, right? It's not gonna just stay in secret obscurity and never see the light of day.
Oh yeah. No. It's I'm incredibly honored to be a part of this, and so I'm gonna do the best job that I can. But after that, I'm going to be making Angela from the Thor comics.
Oh yeah.
She's amazing. Hang on, I have like a thing right over here.
I know I've seen her before. I've seen a couple. I think I've seen.
Okay, yeah. With the red hair.
Is she Thor's sister or something? I can't remember.
So, Jackie, it's this right here.
She's orange, right?
Yeah. She's got these amazing wings, and I really want to make some wings. I was just gonna buy the hydraulic wing parts from the Crooked Feather, but I think I want to try to make them. So that's like another big project. So I want to have that done for Emerald City next year. So that's gonna be another like I'm gonna learn about this, and I'll probably make some tutorials along the way, you know, that kind of. So.
Do you? I was going to ask you this too. Do you enjoy making tutorials?
I do. It's that whole like creating a pattern. I like to have like a nice, neat little thing that, because that's also a challenge for me. I had to learn. I've never really, up until like a few months ago, I'd never edited a video like that before.
Because it's definitely a whole nother skill within a skill, right? Because you have to do like the thing that you're doing, and then you have to like teach yourself to film the thing that you're doing, and then not look like an idiot while you're doing the thing that you're doing, and then actually have decent sound and all. I mean, I know that we all get this a lot. Hey, could you make a video about this? Right? Yeah, right. And it's like people have no idea how long a 5-minute video takes to make. I mean, and
quality
and how much it slows down like the whole creative process. It's just like yeah.
Well, and that was part of the reason why it took me so dang long to make Hello.
Yeah, because you were videoing all along the way, right?
Well, and I have so much footage from making that whole thing because part of the deal with Smooth On was that I would provide some content for them with tutorials, or at least make some tutorials that I would share that they'd be able to share. So it was actually 2 projects that I was doing at the same time: the video stuff, and then also the making of the
making of the making, right?
Making of the making. Yeah, exactly. So that was, it's all good stuff. Yeah. It's all great stuff. But there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that just takes forever. It takes forever to film.
Really
and if you're working by yourself, Heather and I and Abby were going to be making some short tutorials. And I'm looking forward to that because we're going to have some extra hands around, like someone to shoot it and to do it.
Yeah, even just having like somebody there just holding a camera for you that can like move the camera, instead of you're like, okay, you stop, you move the camera, you set the thing up, you check the framing, you go to record, you make sure that, it's just like, it's a lot more work than people realize. So
it takes forever. Even like setting up the lights. We have a ton of lights. I've got like a really nice, like long rectangular light on right now for today. Yeah. I love it. I love having like good equipment for that kind of thing because I feel like you're fighting less post editing
definitely
issues later on when you do that. I've also found that when I decide I'm going to do a tutorial, I think it through like a pattern. I type out exactly what I'm going to say, like what all the steps are, and I make sure I stick to that only. Like I relegate myself to just shooting.
Yeah.
Okay, that takes a lot of discipline.
So basically, like a shot script, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then beyond that, what you have any other con plans for this year? I know you said you guys are going to Dragon Con, right? Is that your next con, or is there anything in between that you guys are planning?
The next con, I know that there's Ace Comic Con coming up, but I don't know that I'll be able to weave that into my time. It's going to be everything that is in Seattle seems like it's close, but it really isn't. It's like 3 hours. It's like a kind of a long time. Plus, it's expensive. And if I went, I would want to bring Hella in my home, and I'd want to get a photo.
And those photo ops are like $200, man. I can't believe how expensive the photo ops are.
Yeah, so I think I'm just going to not do that and something else.
Save your money and time. And
and use that for Dragon Con. So I'm excited about that. We've never gone before, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'll be going this year too. Are you going to Dragon Con, Jackie?
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You don't know yet, really? You're the one that spent all last year telling me I should be there.
Yeah, and you should be there, but it's hard for me because of the week, because it's Labor Day. So it all just depends.
That's right.
I don't have any assistant or any help here at my business, so it's kind of hard.
I'll send my daughters to your place and they can take over, and then you can
That's fine, yeah. There's this weird phenomenon of like, it doesn't matter if you're willing to pay people, there's still people that just don't want to work. So it's like, I live in a place like that. It's very like calm and chill. Everybody lives on the beach, and there's not a lot of like workers. Even if you are willing to pay good money to get work, people just don't want to work here. So it's hard. So hard. I can't understand. I need to live in a city or something.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, come on to the West Coast.
Yeah, well, I'll be there. I'll be in the West Coast a lot of times this year. I'm actually leaving on the 12th, and I'll be out there for a week before Maker Faire, so I'm excited for that too.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah,
awesome. And I know you're
and then RenCon at the end of the year.
Yep. And Jackie and I are both guests at RenCon. Are you going to be a guest at RenCon too, Bev? Have they asked you yet? Nope, not.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure that we'll be able to make RenCon because doing 3 cons in a row is kind of a big ask.
It's a hard.
3 cons in a row is hard.
It's a hard time. It's a hard time. So, but our buddy SKS Props is going to be there though as a guest, which is cool.
It's going to be a lot of people. So I might solo up there for like one day so I can at least get to see Jack.
You should.
I know. I just want to have it just hang out with you for a little while. I come down to you.
Bring a camera because, one of your maybe not so well-known talents is you're pretty good behind the lens. Come hang out. If you need a place to stay, you can crash it. You can crash at my place. That's fine. And, Yeah.
Well, how far are you from the con? Because I could always rent a car and come visit you, and we could do a thing.
How far am I?
Oh, girl, you're gonna be so busy. You're gonna be so busy.
Yeah, but I was planning on spending some extra time in the area anyway, so I just don't know how far you are.
With no traffic, I'm about 45 minutes from Renton. So.
Yeah, and
so how far?
I'm like a good 2 hours at least. So
it's more like I think it's more like 3, isn't it? Like.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
if I'm driving like 3 hours, if my husband's driving, it's like 2.
I don't want to ask you to drive. We'll meet in the middle. That's what we'll do, and then we'll go somewhere.
Well, gosh, I have so many friends that are going to be there. I might just solo up there. I might give Brett the day off.
Think about it because I'll think about it.
Tell
I
him
think it'd be a lot of fun.
Tell him he has to come see me. That's
Oh my God. So Rose City is the weekend before that. So we'll have Dragon Con, like a week of Dragon Con, and then the very next weekend is Rose City, and then the weekend after that is RenCon.
Yeah,
so thinking ahead with like family.
That's rough. That's rough. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's
someone in the video game track at Dragon Con actually reached out to me to do something with that. Because they have like a Blizzard contest. I won it one year, and then I worked with Blizzard last year, and someone connected me, and I talked to him a little bit, but I haven't heard any more back, but that just reminded me. And if that works out, I'll definitely be going because I love the video game track. I'm a freak about that.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
So that'll be. I'll definitely let you know about that. I want to go. It's just it's a balance. You know.
Oh yeah, I know.
There's so many cons that end of the year thing, like big like work stuff. So
yeah, but, so many cons.
But I'll probably end up going. It always works out.
So little time. Isn't that all of our problem?
Yeah, seriously. We just need to like all get like maybe Jackie, I don't know what your island is like, but maybe we can take over the island and we can just make it like we can create a maker island and everything you need, like it'll be like a little village. You just if you need to go
that's really
use a spray booth. You just go down the street to this person's little garage.
I'm in.
And we're protected from like zombie apocalypses and stuff.
You just blow out the bridge and we're safe. So
Oh my God, that'd be.
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
It's very pretty.
Okay. I think we're wrapping it up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh,
thank you so much for being on.
Yes.
So fun.
Thanks, Bev. It was wonderful. And I can't wait to see you at some stuff this year. I think it's going to be fun. Oh, also, those of you that are listening, I realize I have a lisp. I got Invisalign. So if you're like, is Jackie having a stroke? No, that's just.
Oh my God, I didn't even tell.
I didn't address it. I can hear it, but it's. I don't
really hear it
because the microphone.
I don't really hear it, so I think you're okay.
Oh wow!
Now I'm gonna like listen again, and I'm gonna be like, oh my God, that Jackie's voice.
But thank you. But
no, you sound fine.
But thank you for giving me the title of this episode. It is officially going to be called "I Have a Lisp."
I have a lisp. It's okay. It's not bad though. Some people get really bad lisp. Mine's okay.
All right.
Mine's bad if I say the word lisp. It's like then it's a lisp. But I just don't say lisp.
You know what? It is more noticeable when you say lisp.
It's only those words. Yeah. It's like stop. Okay. So, anyways, well, that was a fun episode. Thank you
for being
on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time on Craft and Geek.